wonderful turnout. Thank you so much. From up here, you all look beautiful. Let me begin by thanking those who went on before me, the Rhythm of the Ranch Marching Band and Color Guard. Let me thank John Crowley, let me thank Elizabeth Florence Warren, and let me thank Shailene Woodley for that wonderful introduction. Well, Vista, are we ready for a political revolution? Are we ready to tell the top 1% that they are not going to get it all? Are we going to tell the super PACs that we want a democracy, not a political system bought by billionaires? So we've got a lot of work in front of us, and Shailene said it exactly right.
I'm zoomed in,
We
so
do
it's gonna be
not
hard.
make progress unless we stand together, unless we prevent the Donald Trumps of the world from dividing us up. We began this campaign a little over a year ago. And when we began it, you know, people said, well, you know, Bernie Sanders combs his hair really nicely. I'm a GQ kind of dresser. But they didn't think that our campaign would go very far. Well, a lot has happened in the last year. In the last year, we have won 20 state primaries and caucuses. And on June 7th, with your help, we're going to win here in California. And we're going to win in the other 5 states as well. As of now, taking on virtually the entire Democratic establishment, we have won 46% of the pledged delegates. By the time this process is finished, if we do really, really well in the remaining states, we're going to have 50% of the pledged delegates. What I am also very proud of is the fact that in state after state, we have won the overwhelming majority of young people's votes. And the reason why that is so important is that our vision of social justice, of economic justice, of racial justice, and of environmental justice. Our vision is the future of this country. And I hope that the leadership of the Democratic Party understands it must be the vision of the Democratic Party. And when we talk about this campaign, I think everyone here is in agreement that Donald Trump must not become president of the United States. In my view, the American people will not support a candidate for president who insults Mexicans and Latinos, who insults the Muslim people, who every single day is insulting women, who is insulting veterans, who is insulting the African American community. The job of a president is to bring people together, not to divide us up. You know what is, in my view, our strength, and what is literally unique among major countries around the world, is our diversity. Is the fact that right now, right here in this beautiful stadium, I would guess that there are people who come from more than 100 countries from all over the world. We come from Latin America, we come from Asia, we come from Africa, we come from Europe. We come from every part of the world. That is our strength. And we will not allow anybody, any Trump or anyone else, to divide us up. Now, what is very interesting as we go forward in this democratic nominating process is that I hope that all Americans, and certainly every Democrat who wants to defeat Donald Trump, take a hard look at which Democratic candidate is the strongest candidate to make sure Trump does not become president. I think the objective evidence is very clear that in virtually every national poll and every state poll, we defeat Trump by larger numbers than does Secretary Clinton. Today there was I think today a poll came out from the NBC and the Wall Street Journal. It said that Hillary Clinton was ahead of Donald Trump by 3 points. We were ahead by 15 points. So I say to every Democrat in this country and those delegates who are going to the convention in Philadelphia, if you want the strongest candidate to make sure that Trump does not become president, we are that campaign. And I will also suggest to you that it's not just poll numbers. Poll numbers go up and they go down. The reason we are the strongest campaign is because of you. And millions of other people who have reached the conclusion that it is just too late for establishment politics and establishment economics. Anybody who looks at Secretary Clinton's campaign and our campaign understands that the enthusiasm and the energy and the drive is with us. And when there is energy and when people are prepared to stand up and fight for a better America, voter turnout goes higher. And when voter turnout goes high, progressives and Democrats win.
That's true.
And that is why our campaign is the campaign that will defeat Trump and defeat him badly. Let me just say a word to the Democratic leadership nationally, and that is it has a very fundamental choice to make. It can open its doors and open them wide and welcome into the party people who are prepared to fight for real economic and social change. People like you and millions of others who are prepared to stand up to Wall Street, stand up to the greed of corporate America, stand up to the fossil fuel industry, stand up to the pharmaceutical industry. The Democratic Party has got to open its doors to working people and young people and low-income people and create a grassroots movement in which millions of people come together and create a government that works for all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors.
That's right.
This campaign is going to win because we are doing something very unusual in contemporary American politics. We are telling the truth. We are not bringing forth cold-tested messages, but we are dealing with the harsh realities of American life. One of those realities is that we have today a corrupt campaign finance system which is undermining American democracy. The concept of democracy is not difficult to understand. It means one person, one vote. You get a vote, you get a vote, and you get a vote. That's democracy. Democracy is not about super PACs and the billionaires who fund those super PACs buying elections. Democracy is not about one family, the Koch brothers, who are prepared to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to elect candidates who represent the wealthy and the powerful. Democracy is not about Republican governors throughout this country who are trying to suppress the vote, making it harder for poor people or people of color or young people to vote. Our job together is to create a vibrant democracy in which we have the highest voter turnout rate in the world, not one of the lowest. Brothers and sisters, democracy is not a spectator sport. It's not a spectator sport. Football or soccer that is played here, that is a spectator sport. Democracy means that every person here has enormous power if he or she is prepared to exercise that power. Democracy is about American citizens standing up and demanding justice and demanding that all of our people receive the kind of help and support they need to live dignified and respectful lives. Democracy and what this campaign is about is not only a corrupt campaign finance system, it is about a rigged economy. Now here's a truth you don't see on TV. And that truth is that the United States today is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. But nobody knows that because almost all of the new wealth and income is going to the top 1%. A rigged economy is when we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth, at the same time as we're seeing a proliferation of millionaires and billionaires. A rigged economy is when over the last 25 years, trillions of dollars have gone from the pockets of the middle class and working families to the top 1/10 of 1%. A rigged economy is when the top 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. A rigged economy is when the 20 wealthiest people in this country now own more wealth than the bottom 50%, 150 million people. Can you imagine that? 20 people owning more wealth than 150 million Americans. A rigged economy is when one family, the Walton family of Walmart, one family owns more wealth than the bottom 42% of the American people.
Wow.
And what a rigged economy is about is that the working class and the middle class of this family subsidizes the Walton family because they pay their workers' wages that are so low that many of those workers have to go on food stamps and Medicaid, and we subsidize those wages. It is a bit absurd for working families to have to subsidize the wages of a company owned by the wealthiest family in America. And what I say to the Walton family is, get off of welfare, pay your workers a living wage. What this campaign is about is creating an economy that works for all of us, not just the people on top. An economy that works for the children, that works for our parents and grandparents, that works for working people, that works for veterans, that works for people who have disabilities. And we're going to do that, by stating very loudly and clearly that in America, anyone who works 40 hours a week should not be living in poverty. And that means that a mom out there trying to raise her kids should not have to work 60 hours a week at $10 an hour. Together, we are going to raise the minimum wage in 50 states in this country to $15 an hour. Once a month, there is a report that comes out from the federal government talking about unemployment. And what the report says that official unemployment is about 5%. Does anybody here believe that real unemployment is 5%? No! You're right. Because there is another report that doesn't get quite the attention, which includes those people who have given up looking for work in high unemployment areas and those people who are working part-time when they want to work full-time. Real unemployment in this country is close to 10%. And there are communities all over this country where real unemployment is a lot higher than that. We need today a massive federal jobs program to put our people back to work. One of the best ways to do that, not the only way, but the fastest way to do that, is to understand that our infrastructure, our water systems, our wastewater plants, our roads, our bridges, our levees, our dams, our rail system. We used to have in this country the best rail system in the world, no longer the case. We can create 13 million good-paying jobs by rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure and making this country safer and more productive.
It's like FDR.
Oh yeah, huh? FDR.
And when we talk about our economy and when we ask ourselves, why does it happen? Why has it happened that over the last 35 years, the middle class of this country has been shrinking and shrinking and shrinking? One of the reasons, not the only one, but one of the major reasons is a disastrous set of trade policies which have cost us millions of good-paying jobs. I know that trade is not a sexy issue, and it's never talked about on TV. But what trade means is that over the years, trade policies like NAFTA, CAFTA, and permanent normal trade relations with China have allowed large corporations to shut down here, throw American workers out on the street, and move to low-wage countries all over the world. Since 2001, we've lost almost 60,000 factories and millions of good-paying jobs. And I say to corporate America, if you want us to purchase the products that you manufacture, start building those factories here in the United States. And when we talk about a rigged economy, we have a situation today where profitable corporations make billions of dollars a year in profit, stash their profits in the Cayman Islands and in other tax havens, and don't pay a nickel in a given year in federal taxes. Together, we are going to end that absurdity. We're going to create a tax system that is fair. Brothers and sisters, when we talk about what is going on in our country, it is not just a corrupt campaign finance system. It is not just a rigged economy where in family after family, mom is out working, dad is out working, and the kids are out working, yet 58% of all new income goes to the top 1%. But it is not just a rigged economy. It is also a broken criminal justice system. In America today, shamefully, we have more people in jail than any other country on earth. China is 4 times our size. It is an authoritarian communist country, and they don't look on dissent very, very nicely. They don't like dissent. And yet we have more people in jail than China has. Now, what we are going to do is to take a hard look at why that is the case. And let me start off with one situation that is very rarely acknowledged. And that is all over this country, in inner cities and in rural communities, we have youth unemployment rates of 30, 40, or 50%. We have millions of young people in this country who are not in school, who are not working, and under those conditions, kids do dumb things and they get themselves into trouble. In my view, we should be investing in our young people, in jobs and education. Not in jails and incarceration. Our job together is to have the best educated population on earth, not more people in jail than any other country. I want our young people in decent jobs and in decent schools, not rotting in jail cells. And when we look at the criminal justice system, there needs to be major reforms in local police departments all across this country. Now, I have worked as a former mayor in Burlington, Vermont. I have worked with our local police department, and I've worked with police officials all over this country. And the average police officer is honest, hardworking, and has a very difficult job. But like any other public official, if a police officer breaks the law, that officer must be held accountable. We have got to demilitarize local police departments so that they do not look like occupying armies. We have got to make local police departments reflect the diversity of the communities they serve. We have got to create a police culture in America which says that lethal force, the shooting of somebody, is the last response, not the first response. We have got to end corporate ownership of prisons and detention centers. We have got to rethink the so-called war on drugs. Over the last 30 years, millions of Americans have received police records for possession of marijuana. And you know, if you are 19 years of age and you got a police record and you go in trying to get a job, it is not so easy. A lot of lives have been ruined as a result of those police records. Now, right now, under the Federal Controlled Substance Act, marijuana is listed as a Schedule I drug. Right next to heroin.
That doesn't make sense.
That is pretty crazy. And that is why we are going to take marijuana out of the federal control. It is at the state level, not the federal level, the question of whether marijuana is legalized. I understand you're going to have that proposition on your ballot in November. Well, if a similar proposition came up in my state of Vermont, I would vote for it. But when we talk about drugs, I got to tell you, and you know this, we have a major crisis in this country in terms of opiate and heroin addiction. This is a crisis that is impacting people in every region of this country, including my own state, where it's a very serious problem. It is a crisis which is killing people every day who are overdosing on heroin or opiates. Now, in my view, to effectively address that crisis, what we have got to understand is that substance abuse and addiction should be treated not as criminal issues, but as health issues. And what that means is that we need a revolution in mental health treatment in America. All over this country, including my own state of Vermont, there are people in dire need, people who are suicidal, people who may even be homicidal, people who are addicted to drugs. They need help, and they need it today, not 6 months from today. Now, one of the achievements of this campaign that I am very, very proud of is that we have revolutionized campaign financing in a presidential election. You know, when we began this campaign, we had to make a very simple decision. Do we do what every other campaign has done? I didn't even ask the question yet. You gave me the answer. You're right. The question is, do we go out and have a super PAC and beg Wall Street and billionaires for money? And that is the right answer, and that is what we have done. And I am enormously proud that in our campaign, what we have done is not gone to Wall Street, not to the drug companies. We have gone to the middle class and working class of this country, and we have received now almost 8 million individual campaign contributions. Woo! That is more campaign contributions than any candidate in the history of this country up until this point. Secretary Clinton has chosen a different path to raise money. She has not one, but a number of super PACs, and she has raised at least $15 million from Wall Street.